Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. I got another bone to pick with this food trucks. No, I don't. I really don't. Dude, how many runs in a row are we gonna start with Shade? EPZHCXXH. You gotta always be wary, my mom said, of a seed in Isaac without any numbers in it. Took many years for me to understand what the heck she was talking about. Because I was like, what the heck is Isaac, Mom? And she's like, one day you'll understand. And she was right, I do. So, probably shouldn't have been so aggressive on that Demon Judgment on the first floor. Especially, I mean, we had a Demon Judgment on our last run that was quite impolite. We said, hey, Demon Judgment, here's all my HP. And he said, that's cool, here's a pill that makes you shoot a bomb into yourself. And I said, that wasn't very nice. And he said, what do you expect? I am a tiny devil. Fair enough. You know? It's like if you go to a restaurant called Dirt and they serve you soil, you leave a 1-star Yelp review, I'm going to say that you're part of the problem. It's only fair. So I pointed out in the last episode, I was talking about my day off. Please don't step on the spikes. You know, I've decided I don't want to be here anymore. Oh, thank God. I don't know why that room is so scary to me. I was talking about my day off. And how it's been nice to actually have some time where I'm like... Don't take this, again, the wrong way. But it's not that I work 90-hour weeks. But even just having something to do every day is a little bit exhausting. Now, part of becoming an adult, at least in my experience, is realizing that there's always something to do. You know, my parents were, when I was growing up, they were always so busy. And I was like, why don't you guys just relax for a little while? Relaxing's good, don't get me wrong. But it's also like, it can be stressful to relax while there's stuff to do. And as an adult, there's always something to do. You know? There's always, you know, the house could be cleaner. The dishes could be done faster. Somebody's got to call the, you know, carpet cleaning company. And, you know, it's got to be done today. You get the idea. It's kind of like that with respect to YouTube and... Oh, I didn't need to place that bomb. YouTube and Twitch as well, you know? Like you, even if you're only going to be recording like one video, just having something on your plate, it's a little, it grates on you. It's been nice to have a day off. Well, we got in there and didn't take any damage. That is incredible to me. Like, we didn't take any damage from our first play. We got a Tears upgrade out of it, which is totally worth it, by the way. It's freaking me out here. We look like we're from a Michael Keaton movie or something like that. Like, not a Michael Keaton movie from the 1990s. I mean, like a Michael Keaton movie from today. Where he plays some kind of bird-related individual. Perhaps a vulture, perhaps a man who is also a bird. You're familiar with this movie? It's called Birdman. I'm not sure if you're aware. Okay, let's move along. It's also, I'm trying to combat... One second. See, what I'm trying to do is get into hand-to-hand combat with my peers, is what I'm about to say. No, but I'm trying to combat what I see as, like, streamer lifestyle. You know, we're in a weird time where streaming, YouTubing, etc., is kind of, it's... Oh, I'm gonna get hit. Lose my deal with the devil chance. Oh my God, I made it out. Sometimes you just have to resign yourself, I guess. Soy milk, I'm so sorry. Can we pour one out for soy milk really quickly? I love this item, but I think it's probably the reason we lost that last run that we had that was a loss. So I'm going to say for now, soy milk, I'm very sorry, but I'm going to try life without you. Maybe we'll both be happier. I'm not calling out anybody in particular by saying this, and that's not just my own way of covering my butt, okay? Even though you might see it as that. You know, I watch a lot of streams these days. There was a time when I didn't. And I think getting outside is very important. Because there's, you know, IRL streamers, they're outside all the time. They're innocent in this. They got their own different, unique world that sometimes is great and sometimes, you know, I don't understand at all. But that's okay. But video game streamers, myself included, you know, when your job is basically like play video games, look at a chat room all day, and respond in like a parasocial way. It's it kind of warps your brain and your understanding of real life a little bit. And I think contributes to, a phenomenon that I'm going to coin streamer ignorance. And I want to say the term streamer ignorance without it having any negative connotations whatsoever. What I mean by that is, you get an idea, you finish interacting with the real world. Maybe you're 20, 21, 22, 30, 35, and then your view of the world is permanently frozen in that era. Because the only consistent interaction you have with the outdoors, the people outside of your own, little space on the planet, is with your chat. And chat, I love you, but it's a little bit of a warped view of real life, Like it's, the chat demographic is different than the demographic you get from being outside. And if you think that that's a ridiculous statement, why don't you go check your Twitch analytics? Dude, I'm taking them both. I'm in no position to be saying no to Brimstone at this point in my life. It's gonna make for some good anecdotes, hopefully. But and we should have done that in inverted order, absolutely, but not a big deal. The vast majority of my audience is between the ages of 18, probably even a little bit younger, but let's say like 16 and 35, 16 and 40. And the majority, possibly the vast majority, depending on what your definition of vast is at least, are male. There's not too many 50-plus ladies out there that are watching a lot of Twitch TV. I'm sure they exist, and I would encourage them to watch more. For many reasons, one of which is that, statistically speaking, from like a marketing context, your demographic is just so valuable. You guys have disposable income in many situations. You buy things. Advertisers love that. So please, you don't have to watch me, just watch anybody. I beg you. Save our industry. But, you ever go outside? I feel like 99% of the world's population, 99% of North America's population at least, there's only like two kinds of people on planet Earth. There's middle-aged men and women, and then children under the age of 7. And then there's like a weird little murky category in the middle. Between the ages of 8 and 49, there's maybe 1 or 2 people in every public place. Everybody else is either 50 plus or a small child. That's how I feel when I'm outside, at least. But it gives you a broader view of the world, and then I do think that I'm sensitive to the fact that basically everybody that I work with, more or less, I work with my wife as well, but apart from that, and I guess apart from Hafu, pretty much everybody that I work with on a regular basis is a man between the ages of 26 and 33. So it gives me a very warped view on reality. Because when we talk about, like, oh man, I was at a sandwich place yesterday, lady in front of me took forever to order, and everybody goes, yeah. We're not actually this rude. I'm just coming up with like a hypothetical, right? She's slowing down progress for the rest of us because I couldn't get my sandwich in time. And then, if you spend some time and you talk to her, she'd be like, I first went to this sandwich place in 1971 as a young girl. I was trying to recreate the sandwich that I had. It was the last sandwich I ever had with my uncle before he, went off on a tour of duty for the Peace Corps. We never saw him again, but, now everything's electronic ordering and the sandwiches have spinach instead of iceberg lettuce, and it's a little intimidating. And we had this situation. I'll admit, I chuckled a little bit, but when, Corey and I were at the movies seeing the new Mission Impossible, which again, not a sponsored thing. It's just a great movie. I'd really recommend it. Use coupon code Hardcore History for 10% off your first audiobook download. They've no longer got the fountain drink machines where you have like a spout and you put your cup under it, and then you know which ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about Yum Brands, KFC, Taco Bell fountain drink machine with the bags of syrup. They no longer have that. They've switched to a Coca-Cola freestyle system. I never in my life thought I would be snobby about fountain drinks. I thought fountain drinks were already like kind of the bottom of the barrel. But now the Coke freestyle machine, every time I see it, I'm like, I want to... Whatever happened to the one with the bags? The flavor was more pronounced. You know, I've become that guy, basically. But anyway, you know, it's still fine. You can get yourself a nice Coke Zero, and it tastes like the Fanta of the person before you ordered. That's what you're into, more power to you, I suppose. I'm gonna hold it here, just to be safe. Send in the clowns. And then there was an older couple there. I don't want to say that there was a 99% chance that they were there to see Mamma Mia 2, Here We Go Again. For all I know, they could have been going to see Ant-Man and the Wasp. But let's be honest, they were probably seeing the Meryl Streep movie that also has Cher in it. And songs from when they met each other. And that's fine. Yo. Have we been to our item room on this floor? Where did we get Sister Maggie from? It seems like that would be from the item room on this floor. No. And all I wanted is very simple. I wanted to go to the Coke freestyle machine. And I was going to get Coke Zero. I was going to click low/no calorie Coca-Cola Coke Zero, okay? You push the button. You got a nice, refreshing, cold Coca-Cola product. Many better comedians than me have done this bit. I do want to point out I ordered a large drink at the movie theater. It was $5.50. It was 800 milliliters, which is way too much liquid. That's too much water to consume in 2 hours. Don't even get me started on soda. But anyway, unfortunately, it took me a little bit longer than I would have liked to have gotten my drink, because the couple in front of me, you know, they were a little bit older, and when they got to the Coke freestyle machine, I could tell it was going to be a problem, because they like put their glasses on, and they do the thing, and I know I'm going to do it because my eyes are terrible, but I'm not doing it yet. You know, they do the thing where they put their glasses on, and then they tilt their head up like 15 degrees, and like the glasses only work if their head is pitched at a specific angle. I don't understand what it is about. If it's a bifocal situation or something, my parents do it too. I'm sure, again, when I hit the age of whatever, I'll be doing it as well. Because I've, you know, had macular degeneration since I was like 8 years old. So I'm basically making fun of a future version of myself. But as soon as I saw the head go back and the glasses go on, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a mathematical soda process. And they were like hidden. I don't know what it is. I have it happen to me sometimes as well. But I feel like when a young person uses a tablet, there's 100% fidelity. When they touch the touch screen, it selects what they want to select. Sometimes I touch the touch screen. This happens all the time in the train stations in Vancouver. Like I don't want to call it the SkyTrain because then people go, what's that? I don't want to call it the subway because it's not a subway. It's more of a surway, you know? This is a bad place to stand. We're safe. Anyway, you know, when Kate uses her phone, no matter what she presses, it presses what she wants. When I use my phone, about 1 in 20 taps, it just goes, sorry, your fingers are dead. Have you checked to make sure there's still conductivity happening in your bodily tissues? Because by our metrics, you appear to be deceased. I always had to, it's like a vampire situation. Dude, this is actually great. Like, am I dead and I just haven't realized it yet? By the way, speaking of MI, you guys seen MI6 yet? Starring Tom Cruise, Ving Rhames, Rebecca Ferguson, Sean Harris. That's right, I know the guy's name. He's not even like the biggest star in the movie. Of course, Simon Pegg's in it as well. Don't forget about Michelle Monaghan. And was that Tom Hardy? It was a guy. If it wasn't Tom Hardy, somebody took Tom Hardy and Adam Driver and put him in like the machine that Jeff Goldblum had in the David Cronenberg movie The Fly. You'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway. So basically, the whole crux of this bit is it took him like 3 minutes to pour a soda, which I still feel a little bit of resentment deep in my core. I feel sympathy, which I think is more than a lot of people do, because I'm like, you know, back in the day, the soda transaction was so easy. I give you money, you give me a cup, I put my cup under the soda that I want, and I push a button, There you go. Now there's all these electronics and semiconductors and, oh, honey, do you want Coke Zero or Coke Zero with vanilla or Coke Zero with cherry or Coke Zero with cherry and vanilla or Coke Zero with lime? And I just want to pull the dude aside and be like, dude, no matter what you pick, it's going to taste like all of them. It uses the same faucet. But I guess, so you know, well, I have sympathy that the transaction has changed. I also like, I still feel a little bit of resentment. Because if I ever take more than like 1 microsecond, like if a delay in a transaction is ever my fault, it makes me feel guilty for like the whole day. Like if the person at the grocery store that checks me out, if you know what I mean, goes like, hey, that'll be $95.34. And I go, cool. And then we have like an awkward pause for like 5 seconds, and they're like, how would you like to pay, sir? And I'm like, oh, right, I'm supposed to do something here. Credit card, please. For the rest of the day, I'm like, I'm so stupid. Of course, they say it's gonna be $95.38, and then you say on credit card, please, and then they go, whenever you're ready, and then you look at the screen and you go, is this a tap one? And it is, and then you tap and it says tap error, and then you plug your chip into the bottom and put your pin in there, and then, you know, then you take it out, and then you realize that after taking the credit card out of your wallet, you put the wallet back in your pocket for no reason, which means now you have to go grab your wallet from your pocket. Like, why did you put it away in the first place? The whole transaction takes less than 10 seconds. But anyway, like, there's a delicate dance. So I was like, Lord, give me the strength to one day take 3 minutes to pick out what kind of soda I want. And not be looking around me like, I'm sorry, guys. I haven't reached that level of self-confidence yet. Well, we have Bookworm. These are like 5 of the lowest quality books. But Book of Shadows is really good. I'll still probably stick with Krampus's Head. But Book of Shadows, there's nothing wrong with it. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is that I think it's important for people that do what I do to get outside of the house. It's good for your mental health, you know? We got kind of like the mental illness cocktail when you're streaming. Sedentary. You're almost incentivized not to exercise in favor of doing more of your job. Isolation, sometimes poor diet, that's really up to the streamer. For sure, but you know, I think getting outside and socializing is, you know, it's a healthy thing for you. Plus, my dream is, of course, that it leads to more ridiculous anecdotes. Maybe yes, maybe no. But you know, if not, I can keep mining that food truck story for years and years and years. It's a weird one. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care about getting a theme. Maybe that's my problem, man. I just don't care. But what do we care about taking a theme, you know? It means very little for us over the course of our investigation. First off, not getting hit very often. Secondly, I've already got Spirit Hearts kind of sorted out via Dark Bum, so I think it's not a waste of our time, but not necessarily a good use of it. Alternatively, very interested to see how like streamer demographics change over time. You know, I think I'm being sincere. I think I'm pretty blessed, to be honest. I have a demographic that I think is older than average, and by they I mean you, really. It's not like we've grown up together, but you know, we've grown slightly older together, you know, in the same, yeah, we'll definitely take that there. I am a fool for stepping on that. Plenty of time to get boss rush here. You know, if maybe you started watching when you were in your early 20s, you're in your mid 20s, I don't want to say late 20s because I might offend you, but you know, time keeps on ticking, and that's okay. And it's good, because I think it's good for 2 reasons. One is, sympathy is not the right word, because this is going to sound very patronizing to many YouTube channels that are actually, you know, at least by metric standards, or like financial metrics, view metrics, whatever you want to say, more successful than mine, without a doubt. But sometimes, you know, I watch Or, well, I don't really seek them out. But I'll, you know, a video will pop into my feed, and it'll be like a gaming YouTube channel. Not always a YouTuber. Sometimes it's like highly corporate, you know? It's like, we're Fortnite clip compilation. We got 8 million subscribers. And we're run by a numbered corporation based in the Cayman Islands. But, you know, I feel like a lot of those videos, the people in them are putting on airs, which is to say they're behaving a lot more juvenilely than they otherwise would be if they weren't on YouTube. And that's fine. Like, I'm right now, I'm an exaggerated version of myself. This is honestly, like, pretty similar to what I'm like in real life, but you gotta keep the conversation going. But, you know, sometimes I watch these YouTubers, they're like in their 30s or their 40s, and, you know, they're acting like they're 15 in order to pander to the audience that predominantly watches that style of video. And again, I want to be clear, that's fine. Simultaneously, while it's fine, I'm very thankful that if I did that at this point in my life, I'm pretty sure a lot of my audience would be like, NL, you're being weird. Stop it. You know? I think it's nice that I can be genuine. And, you know, I'm not doing too badly for myself, but, you know, I possibly there was a point in my life where I could have been like, you know what? Forget about this, you know, long-form 45-minute Isaac stuff. I'm going to make shorter videos that appeal to it won't work. If it worked for us and I didn't take Brimstone, I would have taken that. But if I didn't take Brimstone, we might not be alive right now. So let's just, you know, be happy with where we're at. There might have been a point where I could have pivoted and been a little bit more of the, you know, animated YouTubers, maybe playing stuff for a younger demographic. And again, I think that's completely okay. Like, when you're watching, like, what's Nickelodeon Jr. or something like that, and there's a presenter on Nickelodeon Jr. that's 25, but they're acting like a 10-year-old, you don't go, hey, idiot, why are you acting like a 10-year-old? Well, because 10-year-olds are watching it. It would be weird if they go, hello and welcome to Nickelodeon Jr. Oh, we have a very Socratic conversation happening today between, you know, Rhodes Scholar Noam Chomsky discussing the balkanization. You know, that'd be substantially weirder. So I understand it, but I'm happy I have an older demographic. You know, my references to mid to late 90s pop culture don't fall on deaf ears. They're less likely to be needlessly toxic. Like, I try not to talk about online toxicity that much to begin with, but, you know, part of the reason is because I think when your audience is younger, they say mean things to you just because they're testing out the bounds of human interaction, right? Hey, nerd, why'd you do that, you idiot? Stupid, I'm smarter than you. Anyway, see you after third period. You know, you don't get that too much anymore. It's nice, genuinely. I can't wait, dude, until I'm like, you know, maybe let's assume that the world keeps on turning as it is right now, and I'm doing this when I'm like in my 50s. That's gonna be a dream come true, brother. I just picture me with like my belly out, wearing like a half buttoned up Hawaiian shirt. You ever see like dudes in their 50s hanging out together? They have no, I don't want to say shame. They have like no pretense of putting on a show for anybody else, and it's beautiful. It's like they're the freest human beings on the planet. It's like two 50-year-old guys at a bar. Occasionally it's incredibly sad, but when it's not sad, it owns. I'm picturing like it's Martin Mull hanging out with Jimmy Buffett. Two guys who have probably never even been in the same room as one another. You guys ever, you know, and this is another reason I should go outside more, so I stop having idiotic thoughts like this. When I was at the food truck festival and I was walking around, you know, they're paved streets. I started to think, you know, I was like, the Earth is 6 billion years old or whatever, you know. I'm not a historical geologist, but it's, if you're gonna say, well, it's actually 7.1 billion years, okay, cool, you know. You got me. I hope that the rocks that were around back then aren't offended by my ignorance. But anyway. Oh, dude, thank you. The thing is, I always get the age of the Earth and the number of people on it confused. They're both going up, but one of them's going up a lot faster is the thing. You used to just be able to remember. You know, it's the age of the Earth is equal to the number of people on it. But then, you know, we started having way more people than years. And I was walking around, and I was like, I wonder how many people have died. Like, at this exact spot where I'm standing. I'm not talking about, like, you know, people who have been murdered on the street. I'm talking about in what would become New Westminster, you know, in the year 40,000 BCE. I wonder if there was, like, a terrible battle that raged here. I think about that, like, bizarre, like, not every day, but every once in a while, you know, like, be in a mall and be like, 50,000 years ago, I bet somebody got shot with a bow and arrow here. I don't know when bow and arrows came into the historical record, alright? Somebody got choked out here, I guarantee it. I can just tell, dude, I can feel the spirits. It's weird to think about, but like, and I mean, it's possible that not every square kilometer of the world has had some kind of horrible violence take place on it. I mean, the world is old, but for a lot of it, and in a lot of places, there wasn't that much population density. So you combine that, like, low population density, combined with the fact that, you know, the slayings probably didn't happen that often, you know. Maybe it's not as blood-soaked a history as I think it is. This is not something I think about to be like... It's very annoying to be gaslighted when you say something like that and people go, oh my god, NL's a sociopath. I'm not a sociopath. You can't have it both ways. I can't be a sociopath and also have cried during, like, the cheesiest part of Black Panther. Ryan has no emotions, but simultaneously, he's a little baby. By the way, you know what movie I didn't cry during? Mission Impossible Fallout. But it's still a great film. Don't hold it against it. Henry Cavill coming through in the clutch, looking like Tom Cruise's younger dad. Take me out of here. I'm just saying, it's a great film. Directed by Christopher McQuarrie. That's how I entertain myself when I'm in public. You know what? It's, and certain percentage of the population will be able to relate, I'm sure. I'm not saying it's unique to our generation. I think the reason I have runaway thoughts sometimes is because I grew up as an only child in a pre-smartphone era. So I had a lot of circumstances where my parents were like, we're not going to pay for a babysitter. It's Saturday. We have to go to the grocery store. And then we have to go, you know, meet some business person for something that I don't understand. I don't know. Might have been just renewing life insurance. But when you're a kid, you know, it seems like, ooh, business. And then we have to go to the bank. And you're like, well, can I stay home and play Super Nintendo? They're like, nah, you might accidentally eat glass. So you gotta come with us. And you get, when you're in that situation, you don't have a sibling to terrorize or to terrorize you, depending on your proximity and age. Instead, you know, you just let your thoughts kind of run away. Maybe you brought your Game Boy with you, but, you know, you got, it's too sunny, the light doesn't hit properly, you know, it makes you motion sick when you play while you're driving. You run out of AA batteries. That was a bad dodge. You get the idea. Spend a lot of time just, like, entertaining yourself. It's a valuable skill. I totally forgot I was going to bring this up. I was watching last night this show, Inside the World's Toughest Prisons. It's trash, okay? Genuinely, it's a trashy TV show. But the host was cracking me up because he acts like he's, like, hard. But then, so he was in this Polish prison, and it looked like a friggin' nightmare, right? Like, obviously I would prefer not to be in this Polish prison. But they put him in solitary confinement, and he's like pacing back and forth. He's like, I can't take it anymore. And he's been walking around the room, and the guards are like, you know, they're talking to each other, like, what do you think? Has he been in long enough? Should we let him out? And they go, yeah, okay. So they come in, and he's acting like he's been in there for 10 years. And they go, Christopher, or Paul, that's it. Paul, how long do you think you've been in here? And he's like, I don't know. An hour and a half. My dude had been in solitary confinement for 5 minutes, and he was losing his mind. Now, I don't want to suggest, please go watch, it's in episode 2 of season 1 of Inside the World's Toughest Prisons. It's relatively close to the end of the episode. I swear to you, I'm not acting like, well, if I was in solitary, I'd be fine. You know, I'm sure that it's stressful. But my dude was in there for the length of a song and had lost his mind. I really thought, first, I thought they left him in there for like 6 hours. And I was like, man, that would be boring. You would probably go stir crazy. But, you know, like, that's a good indication, I guess, of what kind of imagine, you know, you're in there for 6 hours. Imagine what it would feel like if you were in there for 72 hours. That would be, you know, you'd lose your humanity. When they came in and the dude was like, it's been an hour. And then they were like, nah, dude, it's been 5 minutes. I was like, why don't you just sing Bohemian Rhapsody? You know, that'll entertain you. And then you get let out. I don't understand. It just seemed like it was an act, you know. I don't doubt that 5 minutes could feel like an hour and a half, but your first 5 minutes should not feel like an hour and a half. That's, you know, if it's the boredom and the tedium that gets you, you know, I'm just saying. Strikes me as a guy that has a lot of siblings. Because to be in solitary confinement for 5 minutes, dude, I have all sorts of games, you know. Count as high as you can before you get bored, before you'd rather do nothing than count. Make up a song in your head. Just in general, you know, if you got an encyclopedic knowledge of music up there in the old dome piece, you could play a few hours of music, you know? Like, I'm not saying that it would be easy. I want to make that very clear. This is not NL's going, oh, solitary confinement's a walk in the park. But it is NL going, you should be completely fine after 5 minutes. Like, I would even go one step further and be like, if 5 minutes makes you lose your mind in solitary confinement, you probably shouldn't be hosting a show called Inside the World's Toughest Prisons. Like, he's in there, he's talking to convicted, you know, murderers and... What was going through your head when you pushed that machete into your brother's neck? Like, he's having these, like, really real conversations with people who are, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say they're monsters, but they've done monstrous things. And then when he's in solitary confinement for 4 seconds, I can't take it anymore, dude. Anyway. Please. I regret immensely that I took anti-grav, but all I'm going to say about it is that it's very bad most of the time, but when our shots hit, especially if they get stuck in the portal, they're pretty solid. Plus, if we get really, you know, bent out of shape with it, we can always just use Incubus. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, 2 shots there, obliterated him. Please. It's just, you know, the problem is you have to use your brain when you have anti-grav, and that's consistently a problem for me. Not because I have a bad brain, but because my brain is so good that it's very hard to operate. That's what I tell myself anyway. It's not that I have a bad brain. It's just that I have a very advanced brain. It's got a huge barrier to entry is the thing. It's got a lot of power. It's like a Soviet submarine, you know? From the 1960s. Not necessarily state-of-the-art, but, you know, if you know what you're doing, you can get a lot of... I mean, have you ever seen K-19 The Widowmaker? Me neither, but I'm pretty sure that movie was a feel-good story, right? Oh, huge. I would like to be done with this run. I think there's 0% chance we lose, and I'm very thankful to the game for giving me 2 Brimstone runs in a row. Couldn't be happier. Give me a chance to get some good anecdotes as well as some completely non-sponsored content for Mission Impossible 6, also known as Mission Impossible Fallout, now showing in theaters nationwide. Tom Cruise's most elaborate stunt-filled extravaganza to date. Don't miss it. franchise has been revitalized 22 years after its inception of... Well, I mean, Mission Impossible's been around a lot longer than 22 years, but you get the idea, you know what I mean? Okay, we're gonna make it. I'm just saying it's good. I'm not saying it's the best movie ever made, I'm just saying it's in contention. Genius maneuver. Got one little portal stuck on his face. Keep blasting him. Don't get Inception outside of your purview. And look at that. Absolutely not going to the void. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It's a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.